All right, what's up, y'all? It's Wooly here. So you may or may not have seen yet, but Obsidian had posted a video not too long ago. I just happened to be in the Discord chatting at the time when he came in and posted it. But basically, long story short, here is that Mepps, along with several other members um, of the team, have been laid off apparently. Um, and so I'm sure there's some questions around that. Nothing's really been answered. We don't know if anything really will get answered, but I think the biggest concern people are going to have is what effect does this have on DC? Is the game going to shut down? Those are, the standard questions. So I'd like to kind of chime in and give my take a little bit. I just want to get straight to the point here. I don't think DC is going to shut down. What makes me believe that? I'm going to give you two reasons. First is they just did a merge on the Switch, right? They merged EU and US servers on Switch. Does that mean we're going to get a merge on PlayStation and PC? Not necessarily. I don't think so. Maybe one day, but I can't imagine that's something that's going to be easy. So I don't want to put any false hope out there. I don't think that's happening. If it does, I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon. But the reason I mention that is that if you're a company that's in the process of wanting to close a game and shut it down, you're not going to put in the work to merge a whole nother platform's servers, right? Not only that, we still do have the PS5 client update planned sometime in the next couple of months. No release date on that yet, so just stay tuned, I guess, till we hear something. So I don't think DC shutting down, not anytime soon, right? Regardless of what it feels like, regardless of how dry the game feels right now, it's still their top performing IP out of all their other games, EverQuest, all of those, right? So I just don't see them shutting it down. I also kind of wanted to point that if you've ever seen a company taken over, no matter what kind of company it is, games company, any kind of media company, whatever the case is, doesn't matter. Any kind of company that there is, when they are taken over, it is not uncommon to see the current staff laid off within a year or two of that happening, even though the standard, PR statements that are given is that way we have no plans to change anything. We'll keep the staff involved, which is something I said about Daybreak. They were going to keep them in charge of the games, which I thought was a mistake. But clearly, that's not the case. Just like every time that statement is made, they obviously had intentions to release them from their duties. They haven't really been doing the game any favors, so it is what it is. So that's my take on it. Is that this was not that unexpected. I don't think anybody should be surprised that we saw those layoffs happen. And I don't think anybody should be worried that the game is going to shut down. Okay, all this means is that there's going to be some changes internally, and hopefully for the better. We really do need some new management in there. We do need just better communication. Maybe we'll get that now that Mepps is out. Because a lot of people were still under the impression that Mepps is the developer. He's not a developer. He was the community manager. All that means is that he was basically public relations, PR, right? So he had nothing to actually do with the gameplay itself. He might have had some influence over what type of stuff went into the game, at least from a monetary standpoint, but he had no actual development time on the game as a community manager, right? So Mepps leaving means absolutely nothing in terms of DC. Just kind of want to point that out so people don't start freaking out. That's the only reason I'm making this video, is to add a little bit of clarification that I don't think this means anything. If it does, I hope it just means a good thing for the future, right? And that's pretty much it. I don't really have a lot else to say about it. Just wanted to point out that don't freak out. This doesn't mean DC's closing or nothing like that. This was to be expected. Like I said, it's typical when companies get taken over that within the first year or two, after things have settled down and the transition has fully happened, Team members get replaced, staff gets replaced. That happens all the time, whether they choose to leave on their own accord, um, because they aren't necessarily in agreement with the way things are being ran, but more often than not, like 90% of the time, the plan to replace them was always there from the beginning, um, until they can get somebody else in that role, and just new in general. So whoever that's going to be, we'll find out in the near future. I'm sure Obsidian will make a video on. I don't really pay attention to that kind of stuff. We're focused on the gameplay side of things. But if it is something that I feel like we should talk about and kind of expand on a little bit more, I'll jump in. Like in this case, I felt like I should expand on what he's talking about, not just as far as like, hey, all these people left. You can go and check their LinkedIn and confirm that. But more so to kind of quell any concern amongst the players, that it's all downhill from here. It's been downhill for a while. Um, so when you're at the bottom, you have no place to go but up, right? But that's the only reason I'm talking about this, is that I don't want y'all to freak out and think that this is the end. I don't really see that happening, not anytime soon. So yeah, that's pretty much all I got. Let me know what you feel about the whole situation down below in the comments. Um, or just anything else you want to talk about down in the comments. I check there periodically. Uh, yeah, I'll catch you next time. Well, we out. Stay frosty.